In the quiet corners of a dusty workshop, time often feels like it has stood still. For Arthur, every shadow held a memory. The wood was dry, and the dreams he once had for it seemed even more brittle. It was a project started for a son who grew up too fast. He picked up an old, faded photograph. In it, a younger Arthur laughed on a beach with a little boy. Their hands full of sand and hope, the years had built a wall of silence between them, much like the clutter that now buried his workbench. But then, a shadow fell across the doorway, a presence that Arthur hadn't felt in this room for a very long time. Leo stepped into the light. He looked at the boat, then at his father. The tension of a decade seemed to fill the small space. No words were needed. Leo simply reached out and placed a hand on his father's shoulder, a silent bridge across the divide. They began to work, not as strangers, but as two men rediscovering the bond they thought they had lost. The rhythmic sound of the saw and the rasp of the sandpaper replaced the years of unspoken grievances. Arthur taught Leo the secrets of the grain, while Leo brought a strength that Arthur's aging hands had lacked. As the sun dipped lower, the boat began to transform. It was no longer a symbol of neglect, but a vessel of forgiveness. They painted it together, a deep, vibrant blue that matched the ocean Arthur used to tell stories about. The workshop was no longer lonely. It was full of life, laughter, and the scent of fresh lacquer and new beginnings. Finally, the day arrived. They took the boat to the edge of a serene lake, where the water was like a mirror for the sunset. Together, they pushed the vessel into the cool water. It bobbed gently, waiting for the wind to find its new sails. The wind caught. The boat glided away, carrying the weight of the past and the promise of a future they would build together. On the shore, Arthur felt a peace he hadn't known in decades. His dream was no longer gathering dust. It was sailing. Leo stood beside him, his arm around his father's shoulders. They were no longer anchored by regret, because they realized that the most important thing they built wasn't the boat. It was the time they found for each other. It is never too late to finish the story you started. Family is the anchor that brings us home.